Hello there, Commonwealth from here. Skyward Sword HD is out, and the Nintendo Switch OLED has been revealed and coming out on October 8th with Metroid Dread instead of a Zelda title. The only other Zelda 35th anniversary release remaining in 2021 is the Game & Watch with NES Zelda 1 and 2, The Adventure of Link, and the Game Boy version of Link's Awakening. In other words, the Downfall timeline system. So is the Zelda 35th anniversary over on Nintendo Switch, or is it just a silence before a Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD, or even Breath of the Wild 2 storm in the final months of 2021, and a release for one of these in March of 2022. But first, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press that notification bell to get us past 300,000 subscribers before October 8th for a Switch OLED plus game giveaway. So far, the Zelda 35th anniversary has been bare minimum, much like other stuff from Nintendo in this still pandemic year. Though that does not mean that we should lose hope of any recognition of the Zelda 35th anniversary with logo or any game reveals. After all, Nintendo first recognized the 30th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda in 2016 in September, while building up to the launch of Breath of the Wild. Exactly half a year after Twilight Princess HD was out on the Wii U. And it wouldn't surprise me if September or October comes with a logo and artwork for the anniversary. But will it be followed by a major Zelda reveal or announcement? In 2016, September had nothing as it was waiting time for the NX to a Nintendo Switch reveal, but now in 2021 the situation is a little different. We already have the hardware revealed, the Nintendo Switch OLED. And through two Breath of the Wild 2 teasers, 2 full years apart, we have seen fewer seconds of Breath of the Wild sequels than we saw of Breath of the Wild in its E3 2016 trailer. Let's just say we're being more starved for the sequel than the original, and very likely we will not see any more Zelda releases in 2021 on the Nintendo Switch now that Skyward Sword HD is out. With that being said, it's hard to predict Nintendo, but when it comes to Nintendo, there is a very clear pattern. HD remasters and remakes are revealed 5 to 9 months before release, while new 3D Zelda games are revealed around 2 to 3 years before their final release. For remakes and remasters, we saw this with Wind Waker HD, Majora's Mask 3D, Twilight Princess HD, Link's Awakening HD, and Skyward Sword HD. For new 3D Zelda games, we saw this with Twilight Princess, which was revealed in 2004 and came out in late 2006, Skyward Sword, which was first teased in 2009 and launched in late 2011, Breath of the Wild, which was first teased in 2014 and launched in early 2017, and now its sequel being revealed in 2019 and launching sometime in 2022. So the crucial moment is between September and early November 2021. If we don't see anything Zelda for Nintendo Switch in a Nintendo Direct in this time frame, then it is almost certain that we will not see any Zelda release before E3 2022, though the Game Awards could change it, and we'll get back to that soon enough. Any Zelda February release on Nintendo Switch would be perfect, as this way will, much like Pokemon Legends Arceus for Pokemon, still be within the anniversary year of both. March would be outside of it, but still within Nintendo's fiscal anniversary year, just as we saw with Breath of the Wild in March 2017 during the 30th anniversary. Now we know when an announcement or reveal needs to happen. But of what? I think there really are only two options. Either a Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD bundle for March 2022 or Breath of the Wild 2 for March 2022. From my position, it is impossible to indicate which one of these two options Nintendo would be most likely to go for, as there are multiple arguments for both. On one hand, bringing Breath of the Wild sequel to our tables as soon as possible in 2022 will be a great financial move after 2021 lacked brand new best-selling Nintendo games. On the other hand, the game might still need some more development time, and in the meanwhile Nintendo might want to create an over year-long build-up to the 20th game in the Legend of Zelda series and its timeline. And with it, a journey from the beginning of the timeline, which we started with Skyward Sword HD, maybe through its split with Ocarina of Time 3D getting the HD Miitopia treatment, from 3DS to Switch, plus easily deluxing the 2 Zelda remakes and remasters on the Wii U, which in the Zelda chronology come after Ocarina of Time split, the Wind Waker HD in the adult timeline, and Twilight Princess HD in the child timeline. Though the announcement for these needs to come around September, October, or else we are just sitting and waiting for Breath of the Wild sequel now that Skyward Sword HD is out. Ideally, we would get a Direct in the second half of this year where it is revealed that Breath of the Wild 2 is actually titled ... and it is coming out on March 3rd, 2022 to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Breath of the Wild and also being the 20th The Legend of Zelda game. The next best thing after this is an announcement that the sequel is coming out after E3 2022, but instead in March 2022 we'll get the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, two great 3D Zelda games, and maybe with that Ocarina of Time 3D Miracle HD port. Plus more Breath of the Wild sequel footage at the 2021 Game Awards in December, the first Game World premiere event with a live audience in Los Angeles since the Game Awards 2019. The by far worst option is a complete Zelda for Nintendo Switch silence throughout the rest of 2021, even at the audience-filled Game Awards, which is a sad possibility. Since Nintendo has demonstrated year after year that we might show more than one Zelda game to you each year, but we will only release one of them for the Nintendo Switch in the next 365 days after Skyward Sword HD, a trend we have seen since the Switch released, as in 2015 the 3DS got both Majora's Mask 3D and Triforce Heroes around half a year apart. But then again, 3DS was the big Zelda system with 5 Zelda releases when we also include Hyrule Warriors, and plenty of Zelda 3DS systems. Though the Switch is set to surpass that, at least when it comes to the software side, since we still have no Zelda bundle system, just Skyward Sword HD Joy-Cons. Since the Nintendo Switch, when we include the Hyrule Warriors games, already has 5 Zelda releases in 4 years. Breath of the Wild in 2017, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition in 2018, Link's Awakening HD in 2019, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity in 2020, and Skyward Sword HD in 2021. With Breath of the Wild sequel in 2022, we are at 6 Zelda releases in a little over 5 years. In other words, we have no right to complain, as the Switch is already guaranteed to have the most new Zelda titles combined with remakes and Hyrule Warriors titles on a single Nintendo system in history. And that is before we bring in a potential new top-down Zelda in, say, 2024 or 2025. As such, Nintendo may want to save Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD for 2023, seeing that they have now remade all of their past 3D Zelda titles: Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, The Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and now Skyward Sword. And out of these, only Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask have not been HDs. Yes, there are still 4 3D Zelda games that could be brought over, but the question is when, since Breath of the Wild sequel is out in 2022. It goes without saying, but after this release we will likely be in for another 5-year wait for the next mainline 3D Zelda, meaning that you will need other Zelda and Hyrule Warriors titles in 2023, 2024, 2025, and even 2026 before the next 3D Zelda after the Hero of the Wild games. Obviously, 3 of these 4 years could be filled by a new top-down Zelda remake, and a new Hyrule Warriors game, but burning 2 or maybe even 3 of the missing 3D Zelda games on the Nintendo Switch within a reveal in 2021 and release in early 2022 might not be the best idea for the Zelda team and Nintendo. In other words, we might be in for a wait on multiple levels, one for Breath of the Wild sequel or a game coming out before that. At best, until September, October for a bigger reveal of Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, but at worst, for sometime in 2022 and for the release of the 20th The Legend of Zelda game, that being sometime after the Zelda 35th anniversary and Nintendo's fiscal year of this one are over on March 31st, 2022. Then again, I don't think the wait for a Zelda release will be sometime after E3 2022. March 2022 is a hot candidate, but it needs an announcement before the end of 2021. Direct, the 2021 Game Awards, there are multiple opportunities from now until December 31st. But then again, Metroid and Samus Aran deserves to overshadow Zelda for once this year in 2021 and have its 35th anniversary properly celebrated. And then Zelda's time will come big time in 2022, maybe even with 2 releases on the same system within the same year, just like we saw with Twilight Princess HD and Breath of the Wild HD, which were one day under a full year apart from each other, or even better, a little over half a year apart, just like Majora's Mask 3D and Triforce Heroes were on the 3DS in 2015. And it will happen on the Switch if we get another Zelda release for the Nintendo Switch by July 2022 after Skyward Sword HD's release in July 2021. My fingers are crossed for March, and in that case for Breath of the Wild sequel, as we've had enough of Hyrule Warriors games, remasters and remakes since Breath of the Wild in 2017. Of course, this is my wishful thinking, and the rest is my analysis of the situation and the conclusion that yes, the possibility is definitely there that the Zelda 35th anniversary might be over before it really starts started in 2021, and even though it might get a logo, this anniversary might be without any further announcements, but we all hope that this will not be the case. No matter what, here at the Commonwealth Realm we have plenty of Zelda videos lined up to the end of 2021 and throughout 2022, along with other Nintendo videos, so be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe and press the notification bell to not miss any of the upcoming Zelda videos, and maybe also help us get to 350,000 subscribers by the release of Breath of the Wild 2. First goal, 300,000 as mentioned in the beginning of this video. A big thanks goes to all our great patreon.com/CommonRealm patrons, and in particular to our royal producer Charles Shash. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.